video is going to be very, very important when it comes to the SERPs. Creating video is so much easier than writing content. Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm here at my How to Build an Agency or How to Start an Agency. And I thought it would be fun that if I had the founder of Search Atlas interview me on how I use it and how I've actually will be starting my own agency as well. So welcome, Manik Bhan.
Great to be here, Dre. How's it going, man?
I'm doing good. I love it. I want to let's see, so I usually do the interviewing for my clients of other Search Atlas users and how they built their agency or how they're actually using Search Atlas and to help grow their agency. I want to kind of flip script here with having the founder of Search Atlas here. I would love for you to ask me how I'm actually using it and how I'm doing.
Totally. This is going to be an easy day for you. You just get to sit back while I ask all the questions, and you just get to unload. How does that sound?
It sounds good.
All right, man. Well, Dre, we've all, obviously everyone knows SEO Video Show. We've all watched the show, but I don't know if people really have a good background into how did you get your start in digital marketing and SEO? What was the genesis? What brought you into the space?
Yeah, I've actually been doing SEO for about 20 years now. Actually, it started when I was out of college. Out of college, I had a multimedia degree where I was building websites, and it just naturally came to me. It was something where there was not even jobs ready or available, or that it wasn't even available at the time, right? And then when that SEO came about, it was like one of those things like, who can do SEO? Like, oh, maybe a webmaster can. And that's when I was actually tapped on the shoulder for a lot of things, and I got my first corporate job back in 2011 at SAP, and I was doing like a lot of their SEO for them.
Cool. So 20 years ago, and this is back in like the GeoCities era a little bit. You doing
yeah.
SEO
No. Well, I wasn't doing SEO at that time. I was building websites on that stuff using like my notepad, building my HTML, copying and pasting other people's code and all that good stuff. But it was one of those things where it's like once I was able to build my own actual websites when the .coms on registering, when the only registrar was Network Solutions. So buying your domains on Network Solutions and building those websites is when I first actually got into it.
They're still around, by the way. And,
are they? That's all right.
Yeah, they still are. Yeah, their website and their platform is super jank, but they're still kicking. But I do think like web dev is such a gateway drug for people. They get into web development, building sites, and then they start to think about, okay, I got a site on the internet now. How do I promote it? How do I get it exposure? Mm-hmm. So you did that, and then you said you were doing SEO at SAP, and that was like over 10 years ago.
Yep.
That journey, I'm sure, is involved a lot of different technology, a lot of different tools. Walk me through kind of like in your journey, how you grew as an SEO and kind of how your approach matured and also some of the tools that you were using.
Yeah. Obviously, when you do a lot more practice, you're in practice SEO, you learn from your mistakes, you learn what works and what doesn't, and you actually have your first party data, right? You can also listen to other people and maybe use that head start, but I wouldn't actually go out and just trust it right away. Obviously, implement it and try to see if it works and to do a lot of testing to make sure it works. Because I wouldn't want to tank SAP's website or anything like that. Even though they had a huge brand or anything stuff like that, I would still want to test things out on my own personal websites. And even though with their own brand authority, you can still see what moves the needle. And if you can use that information, that first party data, it would also apply well at enterprise websites. So when it comes down to actually growing, I've worked at Workday. I did their SP for Dropbox. I did others for Stripe. So these are huge companies that I've worked with, and actually I was able to apply certain things. And I use at those companies are more like the enterprise type softwares. Like at SAP, we started off with Conductor, then we moved over to Bright Edge, and then when it came down to when I started doing more of let's say personal projects, having been becoming a consultant, I started using Ahrefs and SEMrush, Majestic, and all these cool things. But so that's kind of my tool stack, and also obviously the more past 3-4 years content optimization tools. But other than that, it was more of a lot of testing and seeing what worked and using let's say Kyle Roof was one of the guys that I was following really well and how he was doing a lot of tests and seeing what works. And then that whole SEO SIA is SEO Intel. It's called SEO Intel now. It's like Search Intelligence Agency. Basically, Clint Butler and team would conduct a bunch of tests that they would actually share out and we can also implement. So that was pre-content optimization days or content optimization tools.
Cool. And do you remember any big early wins that you had with SEO and what did that feel like?
Oh, I mean, obviously, it's we do SEO for like the gratification of like winning. It's like a game, right? It's like a leaderboard. When you beat your competitors, especially like when I'm beating Oracle with SAP or Workday with SAP, it's like these are huge companies that I'm actually beating with it when they have like a huge team behind them, and we're all trying to do the same thing. It was quite funny too because I remember we were trying to hire an SEO. Actually, when I do SEO at corporate companies, it was more of a search strategy. I was more search. I did the search strategy, so I did handle PPC and SEO at the same time. So I heard that you guys are actually doing implementing PPC as part of the Search Atlas features, which is going to be awesome because it's what I do. When people hire me for search, it's for both PPC and paid PPC and SEO, and I like creating a strategy around both practices. And so having this feature that's going to launch with Search Atlas is going to be game changer for me. But obviously, I love winning. I love playing the game, and you know, again, like beating these huge companies is something that I always look forward to when optimizing with SEO.
That's fantastic, and especially at like those big corporates, when you have a win, it's a
Yeah.
much bigger win, right? It could be millions of dollars
Oh
gained in
yeah. Yeah.
value, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
When it
sure that
comes
must
down
have been awesome.
to yeah, no, no, like yeah, there's one of my strategies when I kind of the organic strategy I was able to develop, like say at Workday, I was able to our channel drove in over 500 million in yearly revenue just in the organic channel alone. So it was a huge win for us, and it was like it was something to brag about.
Totally. So walk me through, like, how did you make the switch from corporate to agency and doing all that for yourself?
Okay, so I mean, it was unfortunate where it was a time where it's like okay, I was always thinking about like, hey, I want to start my own agency. I want to become a consultant, right? I want to like, I want to kind of like do this, but and at the time, like I left Workday to work for a startup, and this was during around the pandemic, and then. You know, with startups, there's a lot of growing pains, and then I was unfortunately let go. So the first time I was now forced to work for myself, right? I was thinking about it. I had maybe side clients here and there, but then I was like, now I had to go full time in it, right? So I was full time. So and actually after 1 year of trying to apply for jobs, I couldn't even get a job. And back with even with the prestige companies I've worked for and the amount of years I've worked for, like you know what? I said, F this. I'm gonna start. We're looking for clients instead of applying at companies, and that's when I actually made the switch when I started applying for searching like you know looking for clients and you know trying to prospect for clients instead of like prospecting for companies to work for. And that's where I actually made the switch.
That's awesome. And it's one of the best things. I love how you did that because when you learn digital marketing and you're applying it at another business, at another corporate, you're also learning skills that you can take for yourself
Yep.
to become more valuable. You can build your own shop, you could build your own team, you could build your own brand and use that knowledge to accelerate the growth of a new business, not even just in marketing, but e-com or local businesses or really anything. So
Mm.
love how you did that. And
Yep.
uh, what was your first client? Like, can you walk me through how you got your first customer?
Yeah, so my first clients were basically old colleagues of mine that I used to work with. So they were kind of like going in. What's cool about being in the enterprise game for about like 20 years, you meet a lot of colleagues that move to other companies, and then you are the person that they go to. Like, hey, are you willing to like maybe consult for us and do stuff like that? So like when I was getting a few of those, that's when I said that was my first tap. Let me go hit up all the colleagues I work for at different companies to see like if they need some SEO help. And then that's when actually like you know one of the first companies I was the first clients was like Dropbox. I mentioned Dropbox. I didn't work at Dropbox, but they were one of my bigger clients, right? So that was one of the bigger wins that I've actually as a client base and had them for a few years, right? And until you know, again, when my colleague left the company, she brought me to another company that she was at. So it's a good thing to have this network of people that you keep close touch with, especially if you're old colleagues at old companies.
Definitely. So network actually, it was
Yeah,
people you
yeah,
knew.
yeah, exactly.
Fantastic. So when you started doing that, when you started
Mhm.
building your own shop, this is before you started using Search Atlas.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
other platforms did you rely on? I know you mentioned Ahrefs and
yeah,
SEMrush.
yeah, yeah.
What else were you using?
So I
And
was
and
basically using yeah, I was basically using HR. I mean, I couldn't use Bright Edge and Conductor because those were like enterprise level because those were way out of my budget. I couldn't even spend thousands of dollars on my own stuff. But I mean, even the small tools can still add up to equal thousands of dollars a month. Like you know what when you have a copy of let's say you know whether it's SEMrush or Ahrefs and Majestic, adding all these things and all the content optimization tools. I mean, I use Pop, I use Cora, I use all these other tools all together and combined, you're spending easily over $1,000. And what
definitely.
was awesome was that I was able to see all of this in one tool, so I don't have to jump around, and it's all it's all like it's all like within its own ecosystem. And then I was able to cut costs by that way. And then that's when I found Search Atlas. When I saw that, I was like, wow. And I first came across Search Atlas when I saw you speak. It was at, I believe I was at SEO Spring Training, and I was like, what you're talking about on stage was something I was like, this is freaking awesome. Like, I mean, and then you use your own SEO strategy you turn it into a software, and which is what we all want. And then you can do the off page, on page, and like even just like building those links where they are actionable, and not necessarily like, oh, here's here's a recommendation, then you kind of leave and maybe do it. You can actually acquire backlinks on Search Atlas. You can actually create networks, partnerships and stuff like that with other so I found that really, really valuable.
It's awesome. And so which tools within the Search Atlas platform, like was there one that really blew you away that brought you in?
Yeah, it's just a strategy on it's called Auto AI. I mean, obviously you know what Auto is, but I mean Auto is something that actually was mind blowing, because I shared the screenshot before where, and I'll share it here, where it's like the moment I placed Auto, you can see like a trend going like gradually up from me doing my optimizations. But when I hit Auto, I had a hockey stick of going up at that point on all my websites that I implemented it on. And I took a screenshot of like maybe 3 or 4 of the within the screen. And if you put a line down the middle when I implement Auto, you can just see the hockey stick go up. So Auto has been a game changer for me. It's something that's where I just kind of logged in right now, and I saw like I've saved 663 days on one website by applying auto optimizations with one click, basically one click, which is crazy.
That's awesome. That's a lot of time. How big is the site, and what niche are they in?
One is also, well, there's actually that's that one. They're a local space. They're a local company, and there's more of the like travel niche. And the site's not that big, but one of the bigger sites. I mean, I'd say that it has about 500 pages. I'd say, which I guess that's decent. That's a decent amount. But there's also like even when some smaller sites where like I have a personal injury lawyer where I saved 310 days, and that only has like maybe 50, 60 pages, 70 pages. Like, yeah, it's not that many, but I was still able to save about a year's worth of time. Can you imagine like saving a year's worth of time, and how valuable your time is? That's just mind boggling.
Yeah, I love what you mentioned where you said you were seeing slow improvements in the traffic before from the work you were doing manually. When you compress a year's worth of SEO labor into like a couple days of executing and implementing the suggestions through Auto into the website, that's what creates the hockey stick. It's this idea of micro optimization. If you stack thousands of micro optimizations of all these web pages that normally there's some strategies that we just don't have time to implement. Like, for example, image alt text. Like, have you ever had to go through on a website and repair the image alts for like,
exactly. And you think about it too, when it comes to like, let's say like, I do have some enterprise sites on there too. And just by doing some, that's one of the things like a lot of even SEOs will have to do at enterprise companies, just small things like alt text, and meta descriptions are very, very valuable when it comes to enterprise SEO. And you can also freaking automate it on Auto.
Yeah, and actually with the enterprise sites, I'm glad you mentioned those, because often the CMSs that they have are so brutal to make those SEO optimizations in. Do you remember, like by chance, what CMSs were some of those bigger companies using? Were they on like the Adobe Experience Cloud?
Adobe Experience Cloud is basically one of them. Webflow is another one that they're using, and obviously like there's Wix. But the thing is about this, when it comes to enterprise companies and having Auto, and again, a lot of enterprise companies, there's a lot of security, but when it gets past security and some of them accept it. It actually also speeds up the time to deploy, right? Because when you put in a request, a Jira ticket to optimize, let's say, a meta title, it probably won't get done for like a week. And it's like, hey, just copy and paste this into the things, but it doesn't. It still has to meet the sprint, right? You have to have the sprint where it'll join. It's like, okay, and then you have to justify it. I mean, obviously, it's good to justify everything, but the point is where it's like you have to wait for the next sprint to get something updated when it's just a simple like meta title fix.
Totally. You spoke to it right here, like having to convince your client's web development team
Yeah.
to take your SEO seriously and implement it. Like, how many times have you given one of those companies an audit and said, hey guys, you got to fix all these things with your website. Maybe I'll do the off-page SEO, but
Yep.
you got to do the on-page SEO. And they're like, we'll do it. And then how many of them have actually implemented it
Yep.
themselves?
That's almost 100% all my clients. It's like, and if they do, it's maybe the first 20% and they just stop doing it, or it's like it's one of the things where it's like it's a tedious task, right? It's boring. It's the boring part of SEO where it's like you're going in doing these little fixes, and you can save time with auto. You can save so much time doing more of the fun things of like whether it's like another feature is building backlinks. Building backlinks on, you can build cloud stacks on auto, which is something where I love, and I've always used my credits on like, hey, I'm building this, I'm building this, I'm building this. When I run out, you can also like refill, top up your credits and get more on the cloud stacks, which is awesome, and which is something that I've done in the past too. But again, when it comes to just having everything, taking action all in one dashboard is unheard of, right? Like I'm here optimizing the website from one dashboard for multiple clients I have, and it saves so much time. I don't have to log in to, like, let's say even if it's a small site where it's a WordPress, do some things, I can just do it all within one dashboard and then call it a day.
Yeah, the one platform thing was actually really important for us, Trey, because we needed to have all of your site's performance data in our model so we can use that in the AI
Mm.
and use it to get the best possible recommendation. So without the local data, without the GSC data, without the GA4 data, we're
Mm.
missing an important part of the story. So
Yeah.
we had to build all those bridges to get all that first party data, as you mentioned before, into the engine so we can get the best possible results and outcomes. So
Yep. Love that.
and you kind of touched on some of the client success stories and how things went. But is there one that really stands out at you? And can you also talk about, like, how did the clients feel about the results? What did they say?
So there's a couple clients, and these are the two top performing clients have also reached out to me where it's like the personal injury lawyer is one of the ones where they want it, like they're just like, wow, they just love what's going on. They even saw something like, hey, we're getting a lot more calls within the past few months, and I was like, oh yeah, we're doing really really well. And it's like and so it's like, and I know exactly what just move the needle so much faster, right? Because we literally, like you said, we compressed like a year's worth of work. Because when I hire clients, I know that we shouldn't be doing this, but I kind of like do it by hours, right? I charge by the hour, and so like, hey, I'm going to work on your site for maybe like 10 hours or whatever. So they get the benefit of having auto implemented, where it's like I can implement so much more within the 10 hours worth of work of a month, and see like crazy results. And it's one of the things where it's like the other client in the travel industry is like, hey, can we pay you more to get like to get more? I was like, oh, it doesn't work like that, right? Because I mean, like they're like, just because they saw the upticks, like, hey, can we just pay you more money to like get us more leads, just like that? I was like, nah. I mean, maybe in paid search it works like that, but this is we're talking about like SEO here. I'm not even doing paid search on their website, and so it's like they thought like just paying me more will get them more leads. Like, hey, I was like, hey, this is actually long term. This is actually better. You don't have to pay me more. This will last like a lot longer as long as you keep me on retainer, keep things updated. But yeah, you don't have to pay any fees because we're already ranking one. We're not paying for this. Sometimes some clients don't understand the difference between paid search and organic search, and how they think they have to pay for things. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And so that brings me to another important question, which is, how has it affected the retention of the clients that you have at your agency? What have you seen
Yeah.
that look like?
Yeah, no, there's every client has been there so far, and like I mentioned, like one's really wanting to pay me more. So it's so far. I mean, again, I'm an SEO consultant. I'm not necessarily an agency yet. I mean, I actually the reason why I also got was Search Atlas so I can scale, so I can like become an agency, get more clients, and be able to like save my time for things. So that's one thing that these other like platforms, whether it's SEMrush or Hrefs, one of the things, one of the ones where I've had access to was like, I can't manage my clients within them, right? Like I love how I can manage my clients within the Search Atlas platform. So it's like, okay, I'm a consultant now. Like, my goal is to, in 2025, is start like an agency and like, and double up my amount of clients. Because if I double up my clients as a consultant and, just kind of like working on my own, that'll be totally impossible. So I want to like, have everything within Search Atlas and then be able to hire a team to go into Search Atlas and do some things for me, because it's very intuitive, right? Search Atlas is very intuitive, where you can hire like an employee where it's a virtual assistant, and being able to go in there and do certain things, and like it's simple to follow and it's not hard to mess up.
Totally. Yeah. And we also have really good SOPs too. So
Yeah.
if you do hire those junior people, you don't have to train them yourself. You can just give them like an
Ah,
SEO SOP pack and
oh,
hand it off to them, and they can roll with that. So I don't know
where can I find
if you saw
that?
those
Where can I
in
find
our
that?
Facebook group. We
Okay,
share those
okay,
SOPs, and they're
okay,
also in our knowledge base. If you click into the knowledge base through the product, it's somewhere in there.
okay.
It's got all the SOPs. I can find it for you. We can post it in the show notes.
Love it, love it. I definitely will check that out and be able to like. So now at least that even saves me more time, right? I don't have to create a video on doing the things myself. This just said to my man. This every time I hear about these new things, especially the new features that you're going to be launching, is just making me more and more excited. And I can't wait to like apply them for my clients to make them just excited as I am.
Yeah, man. So, and how much has the agency grown since over the last couple of months as you've been implementing auto and the platform?
I mean, the agency right now. I mean, I hire. I mean, again, I'm a consultant, so I'm slowly adding certain things on. Like, I mean, if I added maybe three, I had three websites there at one point. Now I have, I think, so I doubled this year, so six. I have six that I'm actually managing right now on auto. So I've doubled my sites I'm managing on there within less than a year. I mean, when was spring training? That was back in April. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So
That's awesome. And you're still kind of running that solo, right? Like
yeah,
you're
I'm still solo. Yeah, I'm so yeah, managing six websites. And I added two more. But they're smaller too. Like so, I have a total of eight in there. But one, yeah. So I'm still solo bolo. So it's one of those things where I'm just by myself, still managing. I'm still able to manage more. But like I think 10 will be that point where it's like okay, uh, I can call myself an agency now. Let me get some employees in there.
you can always hire and get more help, to take some of the work off your plate. But it's awesome that you've been able to scale to that point just solo using the platform.
Oh
Do you
yeah,
think you
yeah.
you would have been able to do it without Search Atlas and Auto?
No, 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 no. Because even at four, I think when I had the three clients, I was like, okay, this is it's like a lot of time. A lot of time was being demanded, like, even to implement some of the work, like the optimizations I had found and stuff like that. I need to do. It's like, yeah, it was really hard doing it by myself. And again, like I wanted to make sure I found something that can help me at least organize certain the clients I have. So that's why again I was able to take advantage of how you have search atlas set up for agencies, right? Or even consultants. I mean, I'm a consultant, but again, it's a gateway for me to become an agency and grow my business.
And so, for the listeners, Trey and I were connecting earlier before this call, and I had a chance to share with him some of the new product innovations that we're launching over the 12 days of Christmas. So, of some of the things that I told you about, is there any one that sticks out? I know you mentioned auto PPC earlier, but is there a different one that you remember that you really thought was cool that you're excited about?
Yeah, no, the scholar score is something very, very interesting because of your test, right? You were able to benchmark certain things of your own algorithm against like others. I am looking very forward to the paid search feature because I mean, again, I've in enterprise SEO, like a lot of us manage both practices when it comes to search, and I've led both paid search and organic search, and that's something that I always like offering to my clients because it's like, oh, okay, you can even get you to do both, and now it's just going to make it even more easier for me, and like I wouldn't, it's going to be just less time, and I love that. Like my dollar signs lit up when you mentioned that on the SEO video show.
Totally, dude. And the reason we felt we had to, right? We really felt like it was important was we remember back when Google was only three blue links for ads, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then they
yeah.
added more.
Yeah.
And they've kept changing the first page of Google where they added the answer boxes and just all these modules. They're basically reducing the amount of clicks organic gets. Organic has kind of always been under fire in that way. And in
Hmm.
the future, and that's something that we'll get to in just a second, in the future of SEO, it's unclear exactly how things are going to shape up. But the one thing that is clear is that Google has to monetize their search engine, and they're going to monetize their search
Yeah.
engine. They're going to still run ads always because that's their bread and butter. So no matter what happens in search, there will always be ads. And so being able to optimize and run ads in Google search, I think is a key part
Mm-hmm.
of being able to maintain visibility in the search engine, no matter what things change and how they evolve.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so on
There's
that
actually
topic, like, go ahead.
No, there's actually one other feature that actually stood out for me is your optimizing for answer engine optimization, AEO. Because I mean, again, like we are starting to see like not just the ads now, but we're also seeing Google overview. And I believe you mentioned that we're going to be able to see how like these AIs or even search GPT like how we can see they're using our data, or like we can just somehow get some type of data. I don't know any other platform that's going to give me data of how these search engines or AIs are actually using our stuff.
Yeah, well, it started with this question like, is there a way to do keyword rank tracking for ChatGPT?
Yeah.
Like, what if we could do that? So that's really what we were thinking about is how do we do that type of thing where we
Mhm.
can figure out how visible are we inside ChatGPT? So that's where this product, we call it Quest, that's where it came from.
Okay.
It was this idea that we can actually hit the LLM, kind of DDoS attack the LLM with thousands and thousands of questions,
Oh.
kind of like, investigating it, like interrogating it and asking it all these questions that are related to your product. So, for example, for SEO video show, for example, we might ask it questions like, what are the most important SEO related podcasts or YouTube stations? Like, that's one question, and it's going to give us an answer. What are the most important SEO personalities? What are the most important SEO figureheads? What are the most important SEO researchers, right? All these kind of questions that are around your business. And then we analyze the answer of what comes back from ChatGPT, and
Mhm.
we try to figure out where is it getting its data from? How did it decide that that was the correct answer? And we figure out what are the source documents that ChatGPT is using to come up with those answers and make it easy for you to go back to the source and get your information into the source document. That's the trick.
Oh wow, love that, love that. You guys are some bunch of smart people over there. It's crazy how you do this stuff. Wow, good stuff, good stuff. I can't wait, and I'll be definitely tuning in on the 12 days of Christmas, the features that you'll be offering.
It's going to be a ton of fun, man. And
Yep,
so I guess my last question for you is like,
yep.
obviously we've seen over the last 2 years, the search engine has changed more than I think it ever has, as I can remember, in the last 20 years. And so now as we like look forward into next year,
Mhm.
what do you think is really important out of an SEO platform in order to help you and your customers stay competitive in Google?
Mhm.
What type of themes and topics do you think are really important, and how is Search Atlas going to help you
Yeah,
stay competitive in that way?
no, I definitely one of the biggest things that I even myself are putting out there is that how video is going to be very very important when it comes to the SERPs. I mean, it's been taking up a lot of real estate on Google. I mean, the carousels just hog pages, page one, and if you look at Google Search Central's case studies, all they talk about is video, video, video. So I was like, there's a definitely big push on video. So I'm definitely looking forward to any features that you possibly offering, or if there's any that I'm not even looking at right now on analyzing what what queries are bringing up video, right? Like, I want to see where I can, like for that query, I can just create a video. Because for me, creating video is so much easier than writing content. I could just flip on the switch in my studio and just record an answer and then post it. That'll be a lot faster for me. So I'm looking forward, if any, and please tell me if there's anything on video that you'll be doing, because I've been pushing video, whether it's in like the SEO in 2025 book by Majestic, every year, video, video, video for the past 3 years. I feel like it's going to be even more dominant in 2025.
Yeah, that's really smart, and not just for Google search, but for TikTok and
Hmm.
for
Hmm.
all online exposure, like
Yep.
key part of the strategy. And actually, Search Atlas does speak to that. In the Search Console tool, we analyze the source of your
Oh,
clicks, and if you're getting clicks through carousels, video carousels, you'll see those queries and those clicks in the GSC Performance tool. You can
oh,
also see the actual SERP features that are showing up for different keywords in the Site Explorer, and you can
oh yeah.
filter by video carousel specifically to find out. Like if you look at competitors, what are the keywords that have video carousels showing up in the
Oh,
SERP, and filter by that.
okay. Ah, but yeah, definitely gotta check that out. And I wanted to make sure, yeah, because I mean, again, I would love to see if what type of videos are showing up, if it's coming from, because Google does pull carousels for like let's say TikTok or even Twitter, or there's like seeing what videos from what channel they're actually kind of bringing up. Would be a great feature as well.
It's actually, I love that you asked that question because one of the things we've been wondering is how's the visibility of TikTok
Yeah.
versus YouTube changed? this
Mhm.
year in search engine results. And so we actually have a data science, a data lab,
Mm.
where we've got people that are helping us answer these kind of questions with our extensive data set.
Mhm.
So we'll also be doing a day of Christmas, sneak peek
Ooh.
that's about the data that we've been exploring and studying and trying to share new insights,
Mhm.
new, things that we've been able to learn through our 5 billion keyword database that we pull SERPs for and running correlation studies and just different types of research on that data set. And so you might be interested in some of the outcomes that we get there. I'll
Love
see
it.
if we can
Love it.
tune you in, get you as a special guest on that episode. I think it'd be fun.
Oh, I love that. All right. All right. Just let me know what day. As long as it's not the 24th, because 24th is my birthday. So,
Sure, your birthday's on Christmas Eve.
yeah, yeah. Christmas Eve. I'm a Christmas baby. So I have one present on my
Amazing.
whole year. So I always wondered why everyone got a present on my birthday. But when I was younger, I was like, Mom, Mommy, why is everyone else getting a present on my birthday? I thought it was my special day when I was growing
Oh
up.
man, do you feel like you get less presents overall because you
Oh
because your
yeah.
birthday and Christmas are on the same
Yeah.
day?
Yeah, happy birthday, Merry Christmas. But again, I'm all about giving. Even nowadays, as I grew older, I was giving out more to my nephews and stuff like that. The more I can give, the more better I feel myself. So
I love that, man. That's a great ethos. And with that, Dre, just wanted to thank you for doing this interview with me. It's been
mhm.
super cool hearing about how you view Search Atlas and hear about your journey as an SEO entrepreneur, consultant, and agency. Thanks for taking the time.
Love it. No, thank you again for doing this for me too as well. Thank you so much, Monique.